Welcome to early spring in beautiful southern Colorado. As you can see, there's been a little bit of dusting and snow, and there will probably be a little bit of more snow before it's all over.
Yeah, really good. A little bit of more.
A little bit of more. Greetings and welcome to my home in south central Colorado. It's early spring, and as you can see, there's still a little bit of snow, and there will probably be a little bit of more snow before a little bit of more. A little bit more. There will probably be more snow. Now, having given you my favorite tips for machine quilting, I think it's time for us to go into the studio. So it's actually going to be a mock bobbin quilted element in the quilt. I was just dying on this. As you know, this DVD video workshop is really about everything that I would do to a quilt once the quilt top is completed. This quilt is basically And this quilt is basically As you know, this DVD video workshop is really about everything that I would do to a quilt once the quilt top is completed. This quilt top is basically I can't say that word. Once I have completed half of the design, I always work on one side of the design first, because I know in a design like it's taken some time, but this quilt top is finally quilted, completed. It's taken some time, but the quilt top is finally completed. And now it's time to move on to the next stage, which is quilting the quilt. I'm often asked, who quilts my quilts? And the answer is, I do. The next question is usually, how do I know what to quilt? Or where did the designs come from? Oh, the next question. And then the question comes up about the quilting design. Where do they come from? How are they placed on the quilt? I'm sorry, I'm trying to get to that question, and it's just, I'm often asked, who quilts my quilts? The answer is, I do. And then the question comes, how do you decide what to, I really know I can talk. Okay. I'm often asked, who quilts my quilts? And the answer is, well, I do. Then I'm asked, how do I determine the quilting designs? Well, naturally, there are commercially designed quilting elements. Commercially designed quilts. I'm often asked, who quilts my quilts? Well, the answer is, I do. And then and then using the outside areas to quilt with some stipple quilting. And then this would be wet, dissolving the water-soluble threads, and then blocked to dry. And it would be a beautiful, traditional machine trapunto style. And it would be a beautiful machine and then it would be a beautiful machine trapuntoed quilt. And then it would be and I'm going to move my needle to the right. I want to guess that I have a seam allowance that's slightly larger than a 1/2 inch, because 7/16 of an inch is slightly larger than the 1/2 inch.
7/16 is slightly less than a 1/2 inch. 8/16 is a 1/2.
Oh yeah, I want. Oh yeah, yeah. No, you're right. You're right. You're right. Slightly less. Well, slightly less than 7. Slightly left. You're right. Yeah. Okay.
But let me ask you a question. Are you moving it to the left or to the right?
I'm moving the needle to the left.
If you're moving it to the left, then you are creating a little greater than a 1/2, right?
No, I'm creating 7/16 of a seam allowance, which is less than a 1/2 inch. My seam allowance is determined from the edge of the fabric to the needle. So I don't want a 1/2 inch. I want slightly less than 1/2 inch. I said it incorrectly. I want it slightly less than a half an inch.
I guess my question is if you're moving the needle to the left.
Well, it's not a half an inch in the middle.
Okay.
It's
Okay, that was my question.
yeah, if it's in the middle, and it also depends on the foot, because some people have a 1/4 inch foot, and then the needle's a 1/4 inch. So this foot's not a half inch. It's, I don't know what it is. It's probably metric.